see how de-dollarization is moving forward.
Is that why we see African countries not very happy with Western leaders? You know, you had, I think Macron visited Congo and there were protests. The Prime Minister of Mali has not been very happy with the West. And in general, I mean, there seems to be quite an anti-West sentiment in that continent. You know, what's the reason for that?
Well, Nabita ji, it is throughout the world. The sentiment is not just about the African continent, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because in the pegged currency world, the commodities are going to be in the basket for representing the currency, and Africa is full of those natural resources. So that becomes a natural war zone for the big powers to do the power play over there. Now, we already understand that France still dominates a lot of internal policies of many African nations. And these African nations are now realizing that they need to have their independent policies. It's like de-dollarization is also equal to decolonization. So they are opposing, and it's not just Macron. Remember when Secretary Blinken went to Africa, the African minister was sitting next to him and giving right and left. She was like, you don't tell us what we are supposed to do. So this is happening all across. Now, when we see an FTA between Australia and India, soon after the FTA, the Australian government is saying we are going to remove the British monarchs from the currency. It is the same decolonization wave which Africa is talking to the West. It is the same thing when the American African community in California is asking for reparations for colonization tortures of the past from the American state. It is happening all across the board, not just one or two events. And now we see that how just recently the news has come that a US senator is talking about usage of forces on Mexico. Now, we understand that Mexico just now found out some lithium reserves, and they have forcibly nationalized those reserves. So it's not going to be for private companies. And even if it happens with the excavation with the private companies, it's going to be completely under regulation. So a lot many of these mines is what all countries are going to search for. United States particularly has given an all stock takeover bid for the Australian biggest gold producing company. So we are seeing that Pentagon is asking for budget for taking a stake in Canadian mines. So a lot of clash coming in the US neighborhood now, because the manufacturing is going to shift from China to the West, and America is looking at neighbors as the first stopgap arrangement for, because manufacturing causes pollution at the end of the day around the surroundings, right? So, and it is depletion of natural resources in addition. So a lot of clash with the African subcontinent is also relevant with respect to these mines and the natural resources. One, because the currencies are going to be pegged with these commodities which are going to be mined. Two, because the entire manufacturing and supply chain is about the supply of these raw materials. So that is where it is all heading.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.